All right, if you're a triathlete, a coach, or even just a huge fan of the sport, you're going to want to listen up. World Triathlon just dropped a massive rule overhaul for 2025. And believe me, it's set to shake up pretty much everything, from your race strategy all the way to your ranking points.
So the real question is, are you ready for this? I mean, whether you're gunning for the podium or just trying to beat your own personal best, these updates are absolutely something you need to get your head around.
Okay, so here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. We'll kick things off with the big picture. Then we'll dive into how these changes are going to totally reshape race strategy. From there, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the new rules on the course, talk about some really important safety and eligibility updates, and then we'll wrap it all up with what this actually means for you. First things first, the basics. So these new rules officially kick in on February 27th, 2025. And just to be clear, we're not talking about a few minor tweaks here. Nope. This is the result of a huge review process, and they took feedback from the entire triathlon community. We're talking athletes, race organizers, national federations, the whole shebang. This is a full-on, community-driven reboot. Now for the fun part. Let's get into how this is all going to impact your race plan. This next section is all about strategy, and we're going to hit two updates that are frankly absolute game changers for how you plan your season and attack race day. The mixed relay, wow, it's getting a major shakeup. For 2025, the starting order is being completely flipped to woman, man, woman, man. Now think about the strategy here. This puts a ton of pressure on the first leg female athletes to just hammer it from the start and get a good position. This could totally change team selections and race dynamics. And yeah, this applies to everyone, from the elites down to the age groupers. And hey, this isn't some brand new experiment they're just trying out. World Triathlon is very deliberately switching back to the format we saw at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. You remember, that debut was a huge success, super exciting, so they're basically going back to a formula that they know works, and it's for sure going to spice up team tactics. And speaking of strategic shifts, let's talk about what might just be the single biggest change for every single athlete out there: ranking points. The old system, the one that gave you fewer points for sprint races and those semi-final formats, well, that's officially gone. So what it all boils down to is this idea of competitive equity. That 25% point hit you used to take for racing a sprint, gone, vanished. This is huge because it means all you short course specialists now get full value for your performances. It puts every race distance on a totally level playing field when it comes to ranking points. All right, let's get into the details that are going to matter from the second that horn sounds. These are the new rules you've got to have in your back pocket while you're out there swimming, biking, and running. Okay, big news for the bike leg. Drafting penalties are being slashed. A violation in a standard distance race is now just a 1-minute penalty, and in a sprint, just 30 seconds. This lower time cost might just tempt a few more athletes to push the limits, We could see some more aggressive pack riding, which would definitely favor those strong cyclists who can handle the surges. And to make things even simpler, the draft zone itself is now standardized. No more guessing or double-checking the race guide for every single event. From now on, it's a universal 12 meters for every race distance. Simple, clear, done. Right, and along with that universal draft zone comes a universal time limit. The second you enter another athlete's 12-meter bubble, a clock starts ticking. You have exactly 25 seconds to get the pass done. So there's no more hemming and hawing. When you decide to go, you have to commit and go hard. Okay, let's do a quick fire round of some other crucial updates for race day. Apparel. Elite athletes can now wear sleeves all the way down to the elbow, which is great for both aero gains and sun protection. In the swim, they've now made it crystal clear you cannot push off of something like a buoy or a kayak to get ahead. A small but important safety note: make sure your fingernails and toenails are trimmed short before the race. And finally, while jewelry is still basically a no-go, the head referee now has the final say on whether to allow a watch for elite athletes. Now let's shift gears and talk about what happens before the race even kicks off. There are some really critical changes to safety protocols, pre-race procedures, and, maybe most importantly, who is actually eligible to line up at the start. Now this one might raise a few eyebrows. World Triathlon has officially relaxed the water quality standard from excellent down to good. Now, before you panic, the goal here is to try and prevent some of those last-minute swim cancellations while still, of course, keeping athlete safety as the #1 priority. And building right on that point, the call to cancel a swim is no longer up to just one person.
From now on, it has to be a group decision that includes a medical delegate and the local medical director. This adds a really important layer of checks and balances to what is, let's be honest, a super stressful and high-stakes decision. Here's a small change, but it's a huge win for planning your race weekend. The athlete briefing for every single category will now be held at a standard time, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, local time, the day before the race. Finally, this brings some much-needed consistency, no matter where you are in the world. Okay, this next one is going to have a major ripple effect on the future of the sport. The minimum age to compete in the top-tier events has been raised. So, for example, to race in the World Triathlon Championship Series, an athlete now has to be at least 18 years old. This really helps create a safer, more structured development pathway for all those young, up-and-coming pros. Okay, I know that was a ton of information, so let's just boil it all down. What are the absolute key takeaways you need to have locked and loaded for the 2025 season and beyond? Here are the top 3. Number 1, equal points. Sprint specialists, it's your time to shine. Your results now carry their full weight. Number 2, shorter penalties. Getting dinged for drafting is going to hurt a little less, which might make for some more aggressive racing on the bike. And number 3, new age gates. This is going to reshape the entire pipeline for the next generation of elite talent. And all of this leaves us with one final big question to chew on. With equal points creating new strategies, safer paths for young athletes, and tweaked on-course rules, how will all this shape the next generation of triathletes? Are we about to see a new breed of athlete emerge? Will short course specialists start dominating the rankings? Or will that versatile, all-around athlete still be king? The 2025 season is shaping up to be one of the most interesting we've seen in a long time, and I, for one, can't wait to see how it all plays out. Thanks for tuning in.